Welcome to the Fantasy Grill. I'm Anthony K. You can find me at sports_fluent on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Obviously, you're here on the Fired Up Network watching the Fantasy Grill. This week, we're going to do a full mock fantasy draft, a 10-team PPR draft with all six. We're going to go through each round and explain each pick, each player, and why. We have a question from one of our viewers. Please send in your questions to anthonyk@sportsfluent.com. So here we go. Let's jump right into this week's mock draft. All right. In this scenario, I will be picking fourth. Oh, here we go. Actually, I'm going to pick fourth in this scenario. So we're going to run through the reasoning and the drafting of each player. It's sometimes easier to draft in the first two or the last two positions in a draft because you get that turnaround. So you get that 1-2 pick or that 1-4 pick at the turn. Whereas sometimes that 4, 5, 6 is tougher. Even 7 is tougher because you're having to wait every time for your draft. So we were asked to do the number 4 pick. We also have a couple of questions in the draft, but let's get to the mock draft and then we'll get to your questions after that. So let's go. So we're going number 4. This is a 10-team. As a reminder, this is a 10-team PPR. 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, kicker, defense, and 2 flex, which can be wide receivers, running backs, or tight ends. So here we go. All right, so 1 went pretty standard. It went Jonathan Taylor. Austin Eckler, a surprise, at number 2. Christian McCaffrey at number 3. I've already told you, I'm trying to stay away from Christian McCaffrey. So who's available for me? Well, it's Derrick Henry. I like to take running backs early. And we're going, listen, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris are all good choices. Cooper Kupp's obviously on the board. Justin Jefferson, if you're looking at wide receiver. But at number 4, I try to go running back in rounds 1 and 2. So let's go with Derrick Henry, who's going to have a comeback season. He's one of the few workhorse backs in the NFL. So Derrick Henry will come on the board. And there we go. So we have Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp. It went wide receiver after. You can see again, Cook, Harris, Chase, Adams at the turn. So they went Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon. Travis Kelce goes in the second round. Chubb, Lamb, Jones, and Swift. So here we have a tough decision to make. Stephon Diggs is on the board. Tyreek Hill. Do we get one of those premier wide receivers? Do we go tight end at Mark Andrews? I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara. As I mentioned, I'd like to go running back, wide receiver. So let's pick up Alvin Kamara, who is also going to be a focal point of that Saints offense with Jameis Winston. Even with Michael Thomas back, he's a good back because not only does he get to run the ball multiple times, he obviously catches out of the backfield. The rest of the league went Debo. Oh, I was hoping I'd have him there in the 3rd round. He got picked up early. Stephon Diggs, Mark Andrews, Barkley, Tyreek Hill, and Mike Evans. So where do we go? Josh Allen. I do not touch quarterbacks until at least the 5th, 6th, 7th round if I can. Javonte Williams, Leonard Fournette, I'm not big fans of. So for me, I'm going to look at the wide receiver position. We've got A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen, Kyle Pitts is available. If you want to go tight end, I'm going to go with the safe pick. Keenan Allen is always a safe pick. He's going to be, again, the focal point of that high passing offense in LA. So we'll go with Keenan Allen here. A couple of quarterbacks went right after Keenan Allen and Mahomes. There goes Williams, T. Higgins, Fournette, Kyle Pitts, Terry McLaurin. Oh man. All right. Cam Akers. So that's one you got to be careful of. Cam Akers. We don't know what he's going to be, how he's going to be used in that Rams offense now with so many mouths to feed in terms of, obviously Cooper Kupp. You have Allen Robinson there. But Cam Akers is set to be their lead back. James Conner, also one that a lot of us stole last year late in the draft, and here he is being picked up in the 4th round. Obviously, with Chase Edmonds gone, he's going to be a focal point in that Arizona offense. Then you got Waller, Pittman, and Brown. So again, I'd like to go wide receiver here. However, if someone has fallen to me, someone that I really like, so here's the tricky one. I'd like to go wide receiver. The best wide receiver on the board is Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh, who's going to be good, but I think he'll be there. Ezekiel Elliott. Everyone's staying away from Ezekiel Elliott. However, Zeke is always a top 10 running back. I'm going to stick with staying away from him. Breece Hall, another one. That's a rookie. I'm going to see if I can get Bryce in the next round. I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson because I want my wide receivers. I want to stick to my plan as much as I can. Unless there's like a really outlier, I want to stick to my plan, which is running back, wide receiver, wide receiver. If you have a plan, try to stick to your plan. Don't necessarily fall for, some of those. Oh, this player's there, and now you've screwed up your entire your methodology. So now we got Henry, Kamara, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson. So now the board pretty much opens up again. We can go quarterback here, tight end here, running back, wide receiver. George Kittle's available, Waddle's available, DK Metcalf's available, except he doesn't really have a quarterback to throw to. Josh Jacobs is there. I am a fan of Josh Jacobs, but Antonio Gibson is there. Jared Jeudy is there. I'm going to lean, like I said, I like to go with my running backs. I'm actually, unlike most people, I'm high on Josh Jacobs, especially as my flex. But this is a PPR, so remember, points per reception. Who do we think is going to get a lot of catches? Listen, DK Metcalf is a steal at this spot here. It doesn't even matter whether it's Drew Lock or Geno Smith throwing to him. He's going to get a lot of receptions. So we're going to go with DK Metcalf. I'm surprised he actually fell this late. George Kittle, then Waddle. There goes Gibson, Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Josh Jacobs. Amari Cooper, Mike Williams, Schultz, Mitchell, Jeudy, Sutton. So back to us. So now we've got 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and look at that. Look at that beautiful board right there. J.K. Dobbins is going to have a bounce back, wonderful year running the ball this year. So we're just going to go ahead and just jump right on. See, 2 things about Dobbins. We're not looking for him to be a starter. We already have Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry. But injuries are going to happen. Bye weeks are going to happen. We know Dobbins is going to start off the season questionable, get stronger as the season goes on. So let's take advantage of that and pick up J.K. Dobbins. I think that's a steal for us in the 6th round. And back to us. Here we go. So we have some options again. Michael Thomas, A.J. Dillon. I feel really good about my 3 running backs. I feel really good about my 3 wide receivers. So I'm also, as you know, been high on TJ Hawkinson. So we'll just snatch him up and get that tight end position caught up right there. I was really hoping Allen Robinson would have fallen to us, but he did not. So you can see some of the guys that got taken there: Sanders, Thomas. Michael Thomas would have been a good look. I don't like to have a running back and wide receiver from the same team. That's my thing. Unless I'm doing a QB wide receiver stack, I don't tend to like that. So here we are. So now we have all our starters, with the exception of quarterback. Kickers and defense. Hey guys, just if I hadn't said it before, the last 2 rounds will be a kicker and a defense. So we need a QB. We've got 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. We've got our tight end. So now again, the board is open to us. So we can go DeAndre Hopkins as someone after his suspension comes up. We can go Tom Brady if we want to go with a quarterback who's going to be, good all year. Again, he led the league last year in yards and touchdowns, and Kareem Hunt. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go with the GOAT. I'm going to take my quarterback here and just double check. Oh, I like Mooney. Who I do. Bateman is also going to have a good year, but we got J.K. Dobbins again. I told you I don't like stacking those guys. Mooney, listen, Mooney's going to be good in football. I don't think for fantasy he's going to be as good just because that Bears defense, or sorry, that Bears offense is really going to struggle. So I'm going to go ahead and take my goat here. And now, I've filled all my positions. So now I'm going to look to really bolster my bench, right? So I've got my QB, I've got my 2 running backs, I got my 2 wide receivers, I've got my 2 flex. I'm good. If we take a look at the team quickly, because we don't have a lot of time, we got 2 minutes. You can see we've got Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, TJ Hawkinson, Metcalf, and Dobbins. We know might not. We might have to flip someone else in the flex once the season starts. So, but still, we're really rounding out our bench here. Now you can take a risk, and I'm going to, because when I comes to my bench, I do take risks. So I'm going to look and see up and down who's kind of available here. I've set up my queue so I know who I've targeted. Rashad Bateman. Ooh, Bateman is still there. That's an interesting one. I like the rookie, but like I said, I got Dobbins. But Hopkins is just, listen, Hopkins is going to miss the first 6 weeks, but this is the long-term play here with these bench guys. So we're going to go with the best player available on the board, who's DeAndre Hopkins. So we're working on our bench. Let's take a look. Our bench has, I think we have 5 players on the bench. Yeah, we got 5 bench players. So we're now up to, I think we have 4 wide receivers. So I'd like to look at some running backs here, but again, I'm going to take the best player available. So if we look at, I've got 1 QB, 2 running backs. Let's see what we got at the running back position, who's available. So you've got Gordon, Stevenson, Michael Carter, James Robinson. Ooh, okay, I'm going to save James. If James Robinson is available in the next round, we're taking James Robinson. I'm telling you that right now. I know that Etienne is back for the Jags, but I still think James Robinson is going to get his opportunities. So let's see. Olave is another wide receiver. Again, who's going to probably have a good year. Lazard is another one that I targeted quite often because I think he's going to be one of the main ones that Aaron Rodgers goes to, although he's just blasted his wide receivers to the media. So let's go there. Let's go with Alan Lazard as we round out our bench. It'll take a second to load. Who went after Hopkins was Hunt, Bateman, Davis, Penny, Renfrew, Singletary, Zach Ertz, Claypool, Stevenson. Then I took Lazard. And we're back around. A lot of quarterbacks going here now. Rodgers, Stafford. Again, we're wide open here, which I love. Garrett Wilson. Listen, with Zach Wilson, his injury isn't going to keep him out, so I wouldn't be, but I'm still going to stay away from the Jets offense a little bit. You want to try and look at teams that are going to have Robert Woods is an interesting one. Moving to Tennessee, they obviously, with the departure of AJ Brown to Philadelphia, Christian Kirk. But let's see, is my guy still available? And there he is, Robinson. It's a bit of a reach. I get it. It's a reach here in round 11 for Robinson. We only got 3 left, but let's take him. We know that we're looking at some backups. Here's where listen, I'm not expecting a guy that I put on my bench to come in and give me points away. I'm looking for guys that are going to, I think that was the wow to my pick. If someone gets hurt, who's going to be that guy? For my team, do I need to cuff somebody in case, right? If Henry gets hurt, if Kamara gets hurt, right? Like I like Mark Ingram. Obviously, he's a little bit older, but he's always come in and done well. One of the other Baltimore backs. But again, we're good here. So now we have a couple of positions. We have 4 picks left. One's going to be a kicker. One's going to be a defense. And then the other ones is really open. So I'm looking for backups for cuffs. So let's see who we got available. Just overall best talent. I might take a second quarterback just in case. I normally don't do that. But we have 6 bench players here. So I typically don't take a second tight end. So you got more. Madison, if Delvin Cook gets hurt, Madison is always a great backup to have. Isaiah Spiller for the Chargers. Hunter Henry. I don't want to go so early as take a. I'm gonna take a kicker. I'm just again. I'm tempted to take a kicker here, but now I'm like, no, no, no. I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick to my strategy. So I'm gonna go with another. If someone gets hurt, Cook always misses a couple of games, so I like having Madison on my bench. Let me just see. Is there anybody else that we want to look at? Hines is another one. Henderson, if Cam Akers goes down for the Rams, right? These are all the Marlon Mack in Houston. Houston's not going to be very good this year either. We got to be careful with them. And there's Mark Ingram. So Mark Ingram I can save till later if I want him. Raheem Mostert I feel like he's going to get a lot of carries in Miami. Super quick. Do I take a chance on him? Oh, we're going to run out of time. Let's go with Mostert. I like his upside.
Come on.
I got it. Oh, I went Ingram. All right, so we're cuffing. I clicked the wrong one, but that's okay. We will take the cuff in case anything happens. In case anything happens to Alvin Kamara there. Look, this is why it's so good to do mock drafts. And as we're talking through them, hey, you can make this is where you can make mistakes, but you can work on your game plan. So we've now checked out. We've got two. I think we're good at running back. We're good at running back. I'm going to take, listen, I'm a little nervous, not going to lie. I'm a little nervous about Tom Brady this season. I feel like I say that every single year. So, hey, just to drive people a little bit crazy, we'll take who's a safe pick here, right? So we look at Kirk Cousins, Tua, Justin Fields, Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Matt Ryan. Anyone, but I'm gonna go with someone I think is gonna throw the ball a little bit. I want to be the guy who says, yeah, I drafted Tua. So if Tom Brady started, I got the young guy, I got the old guy, so I got a good balance. All right, so now obviously this is I don't know if you want to call it the easy part, but you'll see defenses. All right, what do I like better? Do I like my kicker? Do I like a defense? Green Bay. Green Bay is a defense that is going to be very good this year. I hope they're going to be as good in fantasy. I tend to stream defenses, which is why I'll take a chance on them. And my kicker is my guy still available? They took my guy. So let's see. Nick Folk, McManus, Blankenship, Robbie Gould, Lutz. Let's take Nick Folk. Just a mock. I like Koo from Atlanta. That's my kicker of choice in most of my leagues. So there we go. So let's take a look at what our final roster looks like. So we got Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, TJ Hawkinson, DK Metcalf, J.K. Dobbins, Folk, the Packers defense. And then on our bench, we took some chances. Yeah, I tell you, I like taking chances. DeAndre Hopkins, once he gets off suspension, Alan Lazard, our fingers are crossed that Aaron Rodgers wants to throw to him, James Robinson, if Etienne goes down again, Mark Ingram as our safety net for Alvin Kamara. He's not expected to get suspended, but hey, just in case Kamara does get suspended, that was actually probably a good pick there. And then should anything happen to Tom Brady or there's a bye week, we got Tua as our backup. Okay, so we have one question from our fantasy picks from last week. So let's go to that question. So the question is this. All right, the question is, I got the first overall pick. Do I pick Jonathan Taylor or CMC? Jonathan Taylor is the safer pick. It's probably the easiest way to explain it. He's the safer pick. I think we know what we're going to get out of Jonathan Taylor. Look, injuries can happen to anybody. So I'm not going to say, well, if he gets hurt. Yeah, obviously, if he gets hurt. What we've seen from CMC is that he has a higher ceiling in fantasy over Jonathan Taylor, but we haven't seen him play healthy in 2 years. This is going to, if he gets, this would be it was 3 years ago since we last saw CMC do anything productive in fantasy. So I'm going to go with the safer pick, who might have the lower ceiling, but I think has the higher floor. And I say go with Jonathan Taylor. It's the safer pick at number 1. I'm very happy drafting at number 4 and getting Derrick Henry. He's another one who, if you're looking for a workhorse back, might be the one to go with. But to answer the question, if I have the number 1 pick, I'm taking Jonathan Taylor over CMC. All right, and that's it for this week on the Fantasy Grill. Check us out on the Fired Up Network. Send in your questions for next week. Next week, we'll be doing a piece of a mock draft, not the entire draft like we did today. We'll be answering your fantasy questions, and we'll be giving you some NFL updates. Until next week, now you're more fluent.